I am the only son of a wealthy family. To protect me, my father secretly trained 10 orphans as my personal bodyguards. On the eve of my coming-of-age ceremony, my father instructed me to choose one of them to be my wife. Without hesitation, I chose Wendy Lincoln, the second oldest, whom I secretly loved since childhood. However, shortly after our marriage, I was kidnapped by a rival group and imprisoned in a dark dungeon, chains piercing my collarbones. I managed to dial Wendy Lincoln's number, only to hear her chilling voice. "Henry Lee, what act are you putting on? Your location clearly shows you at home. You actually made up a lie like this just to avoid going to that boring dinner with me." I listened in despair to Wendy Lincoln's cold and heartless words. On the other end of the line, as the water level gradually submerged my mouth and nose, I completely lost consciousness. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back on the day my dad made me choose a wife. Looking at the 10 photos placed before me, I realized that I had been reborn. This time, I unhesitatingly pointed to the last photo in the row, Mary Scott. My dad was stunned. "Didn't you always like Wendy? Why did you choose her?" I shook my head, offering no explanation. My mind was filled with Mary Scott's terrified expression as she rushed into the dungeon in my past life. And that final, desperate cry. My dad didn't press the issue, merely nodding his agreement. Leaving the study, I walked into the villa's garden. Suddenly, Sam Clark appeared before me, kneeling on the ground. "Master, please, give Wendy to me. You have everything. But Wendy is all I have. I am begging you." I was stunned. This scene felt different from my past life. Could Sam Clark have been reborn too? Just then, Wendy Lincoln suddenly appeared, and her eyes instantly welled up at the sight. She rushed to help Sam Clark up, glaring daggers at me. "Henry Lee, how long are you going to keep hurting Sam Clark? Just because he's the butler's son, does that give you the right to bully him like this?" Watching the scene unfold, my heart ached with a strange pain. Wendy Lincoln never truly trusted me, not in this life, nor the last. Wendy Lincoln glared at me fiercely. "Let me tell you, even if you choose me as your wife, I will not submit. Don't even think you'll get your way." My heart plunged into an icy abyss. The scenes of my death from my past life flashed before my eyes. Precisely because I knew Wendy Lincoln wouldn't choose me, I decided to let go, to help them be together. But a dull ache still throbbed in my heart. Before I could even speak, a black car suddenly roared into the yard, screeching to a halt. Before we could react, several black-clad men, with guns piled out of the car, and opened fire on us. Wendy Lincoln reacted fastest. Years of training had instilled in her an almost instinctive response. She rushed towards me. But then, Sam Clark groaned in agony, collapsing to the ground, a bullet in his leg. Wendy Lincoln's eyes flickered with inner conflict, but ultimately, without hesitation, she threw herself over Sam Clark, shielding him. Watching this, I felt my blood turn to ice. Just as the assassin outside leveled his gun at me, a figure suddenly charged forward, interposing themselves between us. As the gunshot rang out, I opened my eyes and saw the person shielding me, Mary Scott. Seeing his attempt foiled, the assassin quickly holstered his gun and fled. Mary Scott radiated a chilling aura, coldly eyeing Wendy Lincoln. "Have you forgotten your mission? What if something had happened to the young master?" A flicker of evasion crossed Wendy Lincoln's eyes, quickly replaced by a surge of self-righteousness. "Sam was injured. Who else should I care about? Besides, he's fine, isn't he? Is it really worth making such a fuss?" Mary Scott sneered. "So that gives you the right to abandon the young master. I think you're far too concerned with that man, and have forgotten why Dad adopted us in the first place." Wendy Lincoln looked guilty, clearly realizing she'd messed up. Just then, Sam Clark groaned in her arms. "Wendy, I am in pain." Wendy Lincoln froze, then clutched Sam Clark tighter, her face etched with concern. "He's fine, so what's the big deal? I need to get Sam to a doctor now. We'll deal with the rest later." With that, Wendy Lincoln hugged Sam Clark and turned to leave. Mary Scott's expression was icy when she turned to look at me. A hint of resentment and anger flashed in her eyes. "So, this is the woman you chose. She wouldn't even consider your safety when it mattered most." I shook my head. "She probably doesn't know yet that I've already chosen her to be my wife. I didn't choose Wendy." Disbelief etched across Mary Scott's face. Who else could you possibly choose? Rarely did she lose her temper with me. "Whatever. Choose whoever you want. Just don't come crying to me when you regret it." I watched her angry figure retreating and couldn't help but chuckle softly. I wonder what her expression will be when she finds out I chose ***. A few days later, Wendy Lincoln suddenly appeared in my room, her face gaunt with exhaustion. Before I could speak, she knelt. "Please, give me that life-saving pill. Sam's condition is critical." I froze, staring at her in disbelief. She knew perfectly well what that pill meant to me. My dad was a titan in the medical world. Later, he became seriously ill, and believing his time was short, worried that my mother and I would be targeted by his enemies, and so, enduring excruciating pain, he used his last ounce of strength to craft that pill for me, solely to safeguard my life in the future. Wendy Lincoln gritted her teeth. "I am willing to marry you, so long as you give a life-saving pill to Sam. When it comes down to it, if it weren't for you, Sam wouldn't be suffering like this for no reason." I shook my head, a wave of exhaustion washing over me, as I realized how much she had changed. Just like that, she dumped all the blame on me. Wendy Lincoln remained kneeling, unmoving. "If you give me the medicine, I will obey my father's orders and marry you, send Sam to safety, and never see him again." But I suddenly laughed. "No need," I said, "because I am not choosing you at all." Wendy Lincoln was stunned, the eyes flickered, and she looked up in disbelief. "Henry Lee, there's no point in arguing now. I've accepted my fate. Just give the medicine to Sam." I turned and took the pill I had treasured from the safe, then threw it to her. "Get out. From today onwards, we have nothing to do with each other, whether in my past life or this one." Wendy Lincoln glanced at me, somewhat surprised, but said nothing, grabbed the medicine, and left impatiently. I leaned weakly against the ground. My heart was icily cold. I felt it was so unfair to my past self to have died without ever seeing her true face. For the past few days, Wendy Lincoln had been by Sam Clark's side until he slowly recovered. Then one day, my dad announced at the dinner table, Henry's 18th birthday and coming-of-age ceremony is just a few days away. Then, I will announce who will be Henry's future wife. The 10 daughters at the table reacted to his words with varying expressions. Mary Scott nursed a wine glass, drinking one after another. Distress clouded Wendy Lincoln's face. She glanced toward Sam Clark's room before looking away. The other 8 daughters remained expressionless, offering Wendy Lincoln smiles and congratulations. "Congrats, too. Now a officially family. Henry is in your care now, too." My dad watched them talk, a faint smile playing on his lips as he remained silent. But his silence was mistaken for agreement. Everyone assumed Wendy Lincoln was to be my wife. That night, Sam Clark vanished without a trace. Wendy Lincoln burst into my room in the dead of night, eyes red and wild as she gripped my throat. "Where's Sam Clark? What have you done with him? I already agreed to marry you. Why did you still have to hurt Sam Clark? He's afraid of the dark. What will he do alone at night without me?" I was startled, but quickly recovered. "Are you insane? What does Sam Clark's disappearance have to do with me?" Wendy Lincoln's face was ashen, her eyes bloodshot. "Who else could it be? He jealous of how close Sam Clark and you were afraid I'd change my mind. So you had him kidnapped, didn't you? I beg you, switch him back. Sam Clark's injuries haven't healed yet. I'll send him away after we get married." I forcefully pushed her hand away, saying coldly, "Wendy Lincoln, I didn't choose you. You're free to be with whoever you want. Sam Clark's disappearance has nothing to do with me, believe it or not. If you make a scene in my room again, I'll tell my dad." Sure enough, the moment I said this, Wendy Lincoln froze and turned to leave. She seemed terrified something had happened to Sam Clark. The next morning, Wendy Lincoln returned with Sam Clark, who collapsed wearily into her arms, as if had been tormented badly overnight. Wendy Lincoln, face grim, strode up to me. "Henry Lee, if you have a problem with someone, take it out on me, okay? Why do you always have to make trouble for Sam Clark? If you keep this up, I absolutely will not marry you." With that, she left with Sam Clark, not even glancing back. I watched her, retreating back, and sneered. In my past life, I lost my life for someone so utterly foolish. What a waste. That night, Sam Clark actually came to my room uninvited. He looked at me, resentment etched on his face, and asked, "You've been reborn too, haven't you?" Under the lamplight, Sam Clark's face contorted with jealousy, his eyes now brimming with venom. His voice suddenly rose, sharp and grating. "Why does everything good always happen to you?" His chest heaved violently, as if burdened by lifetimes of resentment and indignation. "You young master of a wealthy family, born with everything, able to command the wind and rain, and what about me? I am just the butler's son, living under someone else's roof since childhood, forced to read people's faces. The only thing I ever had was Wendy Lincoln's love. His voice was choked with sobs. Why do you have to take even this from me? Henry Lee, you already have so much. Why are you so greedy? If it wasn't for you, why would Wendy suddenly change her mind? Just now, Wendy told me herself that she's sending me abroad. He gripped my arms tightly, a strange look in his eyes. I won't give up. With that, he suddenly rushed at me, grabbing me, and jumping straight over the second-floor balcony railing. My body crashed to the ground. The pain was so intense I felt like my internal organs had been rearranged, and Sam Clark even let out a pained groan almost instantly. My dad's bodyguards stormed out. Wendy Lincoln, seeing this, slapped me hard across the face, utterly enraged. In the next second, several people had her pinned to the ground, her eyes bloodshot as she screamed at me, "Henry Lee, what in the world are you doing? What did Clark do to deserve this? Why are you putting him through this? How long are you going to keep torturing him?" I covered my face, looking at Wendy Lincoln in silence. The others clamped a hand over Wendy Lincoln's mouth, shuttered. "Second, it'll be finished if Dad sees you like this. Second, you need to disappear for a while, and come back after Henry's coming-of-age ceremony. You need to cool off." Several people ushered Wendy Lincoln and Sam Clark into the car and sent them away. On the day of my coming-of-age ceremony, my dad threw a lavish party for me. The entire banquet hall was filled with my dad's friends, celebrating my birthday. I scanned the room, but Mary Scott was nowhere to be seen. She had to be here today, so I pulled out my phone to call her. The call connected quickly, and her uniquely cold voice came through the speaker. "Where are you?" She chuckled softly. "What? Do you need me to watch Dad announce you marrying Wendy Lincoln?" She paused, her voice growing slightly hoarse. "Henry, that's just cruel." The emotions tangled in those words were too complex. I couldn't decipher them. I gripped the phone, my tone brooking no argument. "Yes, I want you there. Are you coming?" Silence hung on the other end of the line. Only after a long silence did she finally speak. "Okay, I'll go." Just then, a commotion erupted at the entrance of the banquet hall. I saw Wendy Lincoln walk in, intimately embracing Sam Clark. The surrounding guests whispered, their gazes darting between the three of us, filled with curiosity and amusement. I felt several sympathetic gazes on me, as if I were the pitiful wretch about to be abandoned. Shirley was the first to lose it. She strode forward, her brow furrowed in anger. "Big sister, what do you think you're doing?" Shirley's voice dropped to a near whisper, laced with a sharp warning. "Today's Henry Lee's coming-of-age ceremony. Dad's about to announce your engagement to him. You need to stay away from Sam Clark." Hearing this, a mocking sneer curled Wendy Lincoln's lips. Far from distancing herself from Sam Clark, she pulled him even closer, as if staking her claim before the entire world, marriage. She scoffed, the sound carrying clearly to the eavesdropping guests. "I came here today to tell Dad I don't love Henry Lee at all.